Okay. So it's just Bolu Atife and Olufemi that are happy to be in this room. Okay, Dara as well. I see Precious. Lovely. Lovely. So I should turn on my camera so that you all can see my very gorgeous face, but I'm not in a position to do that. So apologies for that. But if you can't turn on your camera, please do us the honor to see your very beautiful faces that God has made. I need to see some fine faces. Please turn on your cameras if you can. Okay, so just to get us started, while we also still wait for some more people to join us in the room, I'm gonna play us a video. And this video is not like, we're not supposed to debate on it on anything. We're just gonna watch and yeah, maybe laugh if it's funny to you. I hope that it's funny anyway. But yeah, since we're sales professionals, this should, speak to us.
Data and execution. But as I went further, I was pushed to develop a true growth mindset at the leadership level. I began to think more strategically.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Apologies for the break. Let's just give Chinaya some minutes to join in. Welcome to everyone new joining the call. In some minutes, we'll be back up and the session will continue. All right, so while we'll wait for Chinedia to join in, I'm just going to take a couple of feedback from some of the mentees on the call and even some of the mentors. Right. Victor, I can see you on the call. How are you doing? How's your week been? How has your mentorship session been so far? What has it been like? Would you like to share?
Good evening, everyone. How you all doing?
We're doing good, Victor.
Thank you for the opportunity. So, for me, it's been great. Mentorship is sort of taking a thousand leaps. When you're trying to get good at something, and my mentor in particular, thank you, thank you. My mentor, who is also my namesake, coincidentally, has been an amazing mentor. He's been a great help. I call him, sometimes I just send him voice notes and vent to him if something happens or I need clarity on something. And he's been very, very giving, generous with the knowledge. And, it's been a good opportunity. So, yeah, that's been my experience so far. And I'm glad he's even here. So I didn't know he was on the call. But yeah, that's been my experience so far. So I thank you for, setting this up. I'm sure I'm not the only one that has, this sort of experience. But yeah, that's my own experience so far.
That's so amazing to hear, Victor. And happy birthday to Victor. Let's celebrate Victor in the comment section. You can wish him a happy birthday. You can leave an emoji just to celebrate him. Happy birthday, Victor. Wish you
Thank
long
you.
life and prosperity. So let's take two more, and then Chinaya is back. She'll just continue. So let me see. Mujala, it's been a while. Mujala, how are you? How have you been? How's your mentorship experience been?
Hi everyone, good evening. Hi Dara, good
Hi,
evening.
Mujala.
Uh, yeah, my mentorship has been going fine. I I got the best mentor. She has been very kind, gentle, and then basically up to the task. So this is me learning things I've never heard or possibly just heard about and don't have an idea. And she has been very, very thorough with that explanation as well. Yeah, so mentorship for me has been nice. I can reach out to her whenever I need assistance, and she has always been there. So basically, I love the old track, the mentorship track. That's been helpful so far, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm grateful for my mentor as well. So yeah, thank you to TSPC.
Majella, that's so heartwarming to hear. I'm glad that you're getting the best out of the track. I should say, shout out to all of our mentors. You all
Yeah.
are the best. Thank you for taking out the time. We've had very good feedback, so well done to our mentors. You're really making a difference, and we genuinely appreciate you. So we're going to take one last person. Let me see. Okay, Ijeoma, what has your mentorship experience been like so far? Ijeoma, are you on the call with us? All right, we're going to move ahead to Johnson. Johnson, are you here with us?
Hi, good evening.
Hi,
Hi, good evening.
Johnson.
Hi there, good evening. Yes. My mentorship experience has been amazing so far. John has been amazing. He laid out an entire plan for me week on week, which I've been following and, with deliverables. And he has been touching areas I've been trying to avoid, or I've been trying to, I've not gotten to as far as my transition is going, but he has the schedule he gave me has been allowing me to focus on those sides of the things, and I've been getting more proficient at them. And I recently just went ahead on one of those projects and built more on that project. And I'm currently I've added that to my portfolio to get the kind of job I'm looking for my transition, right? So it's been fantastic, and it follows up very, very good. I would say that on the following up hand, I've not been great because, a lot has been going on, but it follows up with me in the times where I'm like slowing down And I really appreciate that of him very, very much. He's very calm, he's easy to talk to, and he's way ahead of the curve on everything that needs to be done. And it's been an experience. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Johnson. From what I can hear, your plans or your goals are laid out in regards to getting a new role, and your mentor is very hands-on on helping you get there. So that is very good to hear. Well done to you as well. Chineye, nice to have you back. So over to you. Let's continue with your amazing video.
Okay. I hope we enjoyed that video. Did we? I saw someone say in the comment that it's a good movie or something. Lovely, lovely. I see that. Mm. Okay, so once again, welcome everyone to the AMA session. AMA means Ask Me Anything. And if you were here at the last TSP Hangout, we talked about making this a safe space for we sales professionals to share our wins, our losses, and many more. And, this is part of the initiative. So big shout out to the leadership for putting this together. And I do hope that we've come ready to learn a thing or two. And also for those of us who were not able to put down our questions, I'm referring to the mentees, right? If we're not able to put down our questions, I'm hoping that you'll be able to ask your questions live here on this call. Okay, thank you so much, Dara, for taking the initiative to ask about 3 people how their mentorship session went. And I think we heard from Johnson, and we heard from 2 other people. I can't remember their names. I'm so sorry. But yeah, we'll move on to the next thing on the agenda. I do have an icebreaker. It's just a question, and I'm hoping that just 1 or 2 people can answer. And the question is, what is the funniest thing you believed as a child? So I'm going to start first, right? So when I was younger, I was part of the people that their mothers used to say, don't go outside, don't go anywhere. But I and my siblings used to disobey and go out. And then when my mom comes back, she just always finds out that we stepped out and we were playing like mad people. So she always catches us. And I was always wondering, like, how did this woman know? How did she know that we stepped outside, right? So one day I asked her, and she's like, that she has in her office, she has a computer system where she just types our house location, and then she just zoom in, she'll just see our house, and she'll be seeing all the things that I and my siblings are doing. And Chineye Uzarigwe, believed her, you guys. I believed. And yes, it worked. I always stayed inside from then. So who wants to go ahead and share something? It could be something sensible. Mine was quite foolish, but yeah, please go ahead and share something that you believed when you were a child. Something funny, actually, that you believed when you were a child. So who wants to start first? Dara, do you have something to share with us? Okay, so Dara says that if you...
So I used to have this belief that if you swallowed orange seeds, they would grow in your belly. Yeah. I don't know who planted that seed, so shout out to the adults of that time, but yeah, I had that belief.
Okay,
Yeah, I want
we
to
don't want
say
to find...
well.
Yeah, please go ahead. Hi, Solomon Favor, you're speaking. Okay, so Dara says she thought that if you swallowed orange seeds, they'll grow in your belly, but we don't want to find out. So I hope nobody is swallowing orange seeds.
When I was younger, I was
so is it just Favor, you're breaking? Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, I was trying to contribute
Yes,
to
I
what
can hear you.
the funny things we were trying to talk about that we should share. Funny things we did when we were younger. So when I was younger, I was told that if you had the ability sex to touch you, you would get pregnant, that kind of thing. So I kind of believe that even up to my teenage years. So it was kind of funny to me. So I wanted to share.
I think
that
someone
as
have
well.
heard that one before. Thank you so much, Favor.
For
Yes,
me,
thank you so much, Favor, for sharing. Okay.
yeah, I, this is, I don't necessarily believe in it. Some people still believe in it. I think it's because we are generally Africans, but I just think it's just nonsense. You know how they used to say, if you sleep, if you eat in your sleep, you become a witch or you become whatever it is that they say. That is all nonsense.
Oh my God. Speaking about eating in your sleeves, I used to believe that if you eat egg in the night, you are a witch. I mean, you're going to be a witch. I don't know. That was
Yeah,
how.
they had all that. I don't honestly, they had all sorts of things, but I think, I don't know, I really don't know what they were trying to do, but I think it's just an African thing that they just came up with because it's all, I can't count the number of times I ate when I was a child.
Yes, I mean, that's such a foolish thing to think because I can't count how many times I've eaten egg in the night. And it was so funny because we're actually gossiping. I and my friends, when we were in boarding school, I think I was in just one that time, we're gossiping about the senior that she's a witch, that she used to eat egg in the night. And that was how we didn't know that this senior was hearing us. The next thing that we knew is that we were kneeling down and collecting slaps. But anyway, it's all right. So we'll move on to the next thing on the agenda. I'm going to introduce our speakers or mentors in a moment, but I just want to give us an overview of what this session is supposed to be. As I mentioned, AMA means Ask Me Anything, and this AMA session is designed to allow mentees to gain practical insights into career growth, professional development, and navigating challenges within their respective fields. The conversation will center around the personal experiences, lessons, and career journeys of the mentors, providing attendees with relatable and valuable guidance. Through a curated set of questions, the mentors will share their experiences on career progression, overcoming obstacles, building relevant skills, seizing opportunities, and sustaining growth in their careers. The session will also explore common industry challenges, key lessons learned, and actionable advice that mentees can apply to their own professional journey. The goal is to ensure participants leave the session with greater clarity, motivation, and practical knowledge to support their career growth and personal development. Can we jam our hands together for the leadership of TSP for actually putting this AMA session together? What a wonderful one. Please put your hands together for them. Okay, so I'm going to be introducing two of our mentors. We have Sarah, Alex, Usifo. Please jam your hands together. As I'm calling their names, be jamming your hands. I don't want to see anybody not clapping because it's not easy to be a mentor. A mentor, not a tormentor. Please put your hands together for Sarah Alex Usifo. Sarah is a strategist, consultant, and founder with over a decade of experience across account management, customer success, operations, sales, and marketing. She's currently the founder and lead consultant at Trailblaze Africa. She has worked with leading brands like Google. Can somebody say goals? Put goals in the chat box, please. It's not easy. Okay, so she's worked with brands like Google, Meta, Duolingo, Cowrywise, and the Nigerian Exchange Group, and has trained over 2,000 professionals. Not one, not two, not three, 2,000 professionals. She's the founder of Trailblaze Africa, as I said before, and Access for All Network and Lang Call Club, with a strong focus on startups, inclusion, and culture. A published author and corporate trainer, Sarah is passionate about building impactful communities and driving meaningful change. Please put your hands together once again for Sarah. Sarah, do you want to say hi to us? Just let us hear your beautiful voice, please.
Hi everyone. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, that's the voice of a leader, as you can hear it. Okay, so the next person on our list is Olufemi Peters. He happens to be the account executive at Paid HR. You guys, you know my rule. Don't stop clapping. It's not easy to be a mentor, not a tormentor. So Olufemi Peters is an account executive at Paid HR, where he drives growth by helping businesses streamline their HR and payroll operations through technology. With a background in tech sales and go-to-market strategy, he specializes in pipeline development, stakeholder engagement, and identifying high-value opportunities across diverse industries. Beyond sales, Olufemi is deeply interested in venture building and the African startups ecosystem. He's actively developing expertise in startup growth, founder evaluation, and early stage strategy, with a long-term vision of contributing to the venture creation and investment across the continent. Somebody say goals. Oh, I see a lot of us putting W's in the chat box, you guys, W's. Because I mean, it's not easy. Can we all see this biography? Power packed. Please put your hands together for Olufemi. Do you want to say something to us, Olufemi?
Hi everyone, good evening. It's nice to be here.
Hi. Of course, as you can hear again, the voice of another very great leader. Amazing. So we'll get started with some of the questions. Yeah, so let me just pull this up in a minute. Okay, so the first question that I have here is from Favor Solomon, and she has 3 questions and has directed all her questions to Olufemi Peters. So, Olufemi, would you like me to read all 3 questions, because they are actually all lengthy? So, or do you want to take them one by one?
Please, I'm not that smart. Let's do it one by one.
They lie you. For you to be a mentor, not a tormentor, you are very smart. So you want to take it one by one or the full question?
Yeah, let's do one by one, please.
Okay, lovely. So the first question says, tell me about when you started your career, how you navigated breaking into the partnership industry, and how it has been so far.
Accidents.
Oh,
so it's accidents, but I mean, everyone has a story, and somehow there's the path of luck and being able to find something and start doing the work. So I was part of those that COVID met in school, and during that period, I was doing sociology in UI, and when I think so during COVID, I mean, you are less busy. Not, I mean, the world paused, so you had to do something to move. That was when I figured that. Okay, while I was in school, I was thinking once I'm done with sociology, I was going to write the CIPM exam and start from HR. I wanted to be an HR. I mean, that was because, I mean, doing sociology figures makes you understand that there was nothing ahead like you want to do. You want to just find yourself in something, and HR felt like the next thing. And so then I joined this program at Forage. There's this BCG thing, one consulting thing that I found, and then I started doing a lot of program there. I found venture architecture, found business development. And so immediately after COVID, I went for service. And during service, I served in a startup that's why I said accident. So I was in the startup, was posted. I didn't want to, okay, to be honest, I didn't want to have to go to Kaduna or something. So I worked my service to Lagos, and working into Lagos means you have to find where you will serve. So there's my guy that was building a startup then. I was like, Afa, I beg, just be signing my stuff. So then I started working. I was like, okay, what are you going to be doing? Okay, let me just keep staying with them. So I was working together, and I then just took over, took initiative and take over some things during that period. Although I had other things that were still engaging me on 9-to-5 basis, but then I figured I could help them with a lot of things. And I mean, one of the things then I enjoyed in sales. So I started sales on the part where there was no target. So you understand with me. So these are the things that let us run away from sales, right? Aside from the points where there was no target, and at the end of the day, I enjoyed every flow, conversations with businesses, trying to understand their mode. So what they did was they built softwares for companies, solution, and stuff like that. So then I was just like the handbag guy with them, not necessarily having a target, but just working with them to maybe move something because those guys were working out of their parlor. So then I figured, I mean, I like talking, I like this thing, and let me pick it as a career. Then I tried to apply for a job. While I was with them, I was still serving, so I got my first gig, and then I've been moving. And yeah, that's how it worked for me. So I think the lesson here is just the fact that nobody enters it clean. Like really, I don't think anybody enters it in the past to say you already know where you're going. Sometimes you find yourself here and you have to make sense of the story. So all of these things, when it was happening, I never knew that on a particular day like this, I'm going to be speaking somewhere like this, or maybe I'll be in PHR at this point of my life too. But there's one popular thing that they used to say in music. The first key you strike does not matter as much as the next key you pick. So sometimes your off key is not necessarily based on because you picked the first key, but the next key you press qualifies the previous key. So at some point, I mean, I needed to make money and I needed to have a life. So then I started working on it, and yeah, and commission package in sales felt so sweet. So why not do it? That's my own story. So I don't know how that helps you, but I hope it does. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Olufemi Peters. That was such a good story. Sometimes the best things happen to us accidentally. They say it's when you're not looking.
Mm-hmm.
Are looking for husband. They say if you're not looking, that's when the husband will come. Abi? So something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much once again. So the next question, again, still directed at you. She says, was there any time you felt like quitting, and what did you do to get yourself back in the game?
I mean, it's every day. You feel like quitting every day. I mean, I was on the island today at work. Now I'm back home, and I feel like why am I even doing sales every day? You feel like quitting every day, because there's something that I used to say, and I used to say it to my guys at work. You are as good as the last day you closed. So even if in January you closed in January you did like the best deal in the company, and in February you've been like coasting, March till June you've been coasting, even though whatever you closed in the company was has been the highest, you're as good as the last day you closed in sales. And for a salesperson, I mean, you are a new employee every month. You're a new employee every month or every quarter, whatever way is measured in where you work. You're a new, and we have to accept that sales is hard. So these are the hard things about sales. Sales is hard, but by the time when your commission package lands and you're booking a trip to Maldives, nobody, nobody would see them. But sales is hard. So, and you have to just find one thing in sales that keeps you going. And for me, is the conversations. So I mean, because of the kind of job that I do, we have to demo like a software. So then my joy in doing this sales for me right now that I figured out is that I love demos a lot. So I love my demos a lot. I want to talk to people. I want to talk about the technology. I love it so much. So then, so my target becomes a consequence of whatever. So if someone like me loves doing a demo, it means that at the end of the day, if I do the demo well, the conversation lands well on the side of the prospect, and at the end of the day, becomes a deal, and then we close it, right? So I love demo a lot because even with the demo, then you know how to follow up. Because follow up then does not become, oh, please, now I'm trying to check on my conversation. Then I pick a phone. I'm like, I mean, I'm just checking because I just remember the call that we had. I remember when you said this and this. How what is that stuff going? And I was like, we've not fixed it. And that's why we have to close this conversation now. So these are the way it works for me. So this is my joy. Most times, there's another thing that someone used to say. I think it was Michael Jordan that said is that, if you're playing basketball, you don't keep looking at the board to see what the score is. You have to focus on the game. So most times, your target is a consequence, or your deal close is a consequence. So just look for one thing that you love on the job. For some people, it might be the numbers. I have someone in my company, she likes the part where we start talking about numbers a lot, and that's why she said she loves sales. Her own story was like she started with data analysis, and now she figured that she's bored in data analysis, and now she's in sales. For someone like that, you can see a trajectory revenue operation. So for me, it's a conversation, the partnerships, the solution mindedness. So that's for me, and this is what keeps me going. But that I don't think I wanted to quit. I mean, at some point, I wanted to leave sales and go and be doing something else. I mean, it's there, but you have to find one thing that you love and just stick at it. Make that one your joy. So, yeah. I think that's my answer. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So it was good that you found what you love on time, because I mean, if you if you stay there and you just basically dilly dallying, you probably would it will become tiring for you. So thank you so much, Olufemi. So Favor, I hope that you're taking note, because these are the questions that you've asked, and I hope that you're taking note of every answer that he is providing to them. Okay, and then for the third question, she says, how would you tell a newbie to evaluate himself if this industry is for him or her before venturing in, and what it takes to succeed long
Hmm.
term?
Well, I think I like this question a lot because the best salespeople are not just the guys that worked in a company that close the best deals. They are those that understand times and seasons, right? In PDHR, for example, we used to have like uprising, like our deals would come in beginning of the year and also middle of the year and end of the year. So which means there are some months that will be dry, right? So and for me, like I said, if you remember something, I mean, this is the story of the accident and luck again, right? I was training to become an HR in school, and now I'm selling an HR technology. So, which means if you figure out the idea that this is why someone like me will like talking about HR at this point of my life, right? So by all means, at the end of the day, now my advantage is that I've learned the industry, the people. Now I'm now selling technology to the people that I once was part of, right? So then it makes sense. Now, many people I've seen sales guys that maybe did well in a particular company and they are now in paid HR, they are struggling. So sometimes it's not a case of that you're not in the best place. Sometimes adaptation to matters, right? Because sales in itself is hard. I will keep saying this. I mean, one of my mentors to like says is don't cover your mouth about it. Sales is hard and it is hard. So like don't think it's easy. Your best month is not because you are perfect that month. I mean, things just align. So, but now, so to first things about industries that you are at the moment, of course, adds to what you have. So now my story about the times in PDHR means that I have known the times that PDHR moves faster because of those times of the months. The idea is beginning of the year, many companies is sitting on strategy. Let's make our process look good. So which means that you have to be on people's neck at that point, right? Then deals will close. Middle of the year, they're trying to maybe evaluate what the process is like again. Deals will close. End of the year, they have budgets that they have not finished spending. So if you speak to them at that time, they don't want to carry over the budget. So these are things that you have to know about industries before you decide to know which industry will work for you or not. So, like beyond that's why beyond the sales thing, you don't have to just be trying to sell to everybody. Get like background knowledge. So you might stay in an industry and be like, this is not for me. Maybe you need to learn more. Maybe you need to take your time and understand why it works or how it works here. And of course, if sales is hard, definitely it's going to be boring. So which means all of this knowledge are things that engage you, that make you like an authority in that thing that you are selling at that point. I mean, if I move from PDHR today, I mean, I was selling tech before anyways. And during that tech time, I understood that if the term have started or in schools in Lagos, nobody will buy again. So you have to sell at the during the holiday period. So these are the things that you learn, of course. And so it's this knowledge that builds you up about your critical thinking. So then even if you move to a place, Shay Pandele, the owner of the company, would say, that work says that if it's not working, let's make sure that it's not you. Let's make sure that it's a situation. So, and I've seen guys, my friends that will stay in the company, were like, guy, we're not selling. But this same person, they don't want to let the person go. But they know because this person is good. So it is your addition of your own self that figures out how a place is good, right? So most time that's why beyond and of course there can be a place for toxic organizations. I mean, I'm not disputing the fact that it can exist, but you would know because by the fact that you are doing the things, you are like burning your own your midnight candle, you are giving your best, then you understand that it's going to take time. So there are times that when you have a job that's place holding and you end up finding the job that will scale your career. So just ensure that on your own end, do everything possible, like beyond just selling the products, knowledge of the space. And by the time when you start applying yourself, we are talking in meeting, they know that this person is an authority. Then even if it's not working, that we're not selling, then they are even coming to ask you that, oh, why do you think we're not selling now? You have something to say. So that's why I see it. So I really don't think that like a place is not, or I mean, it can happen. That's why I said, we're not disposing toxic places, but as long as it's a business and the need was clear before you joined there, right? Or this thing. So do your own background work. Be sure that if it is not working, it's not you, it is the system. So by the time when you are leaving, even it's just clear, right? So yeah, and that's why another advantage in sales is that we measure activities too. So if they see how much conversations you're having and it's not closing, then system can evaluate and understand that, oh, maybe we're approaching our product the wrong way. Let's pivot or something like that. So this is what I think about that.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Femi. Valuable insights. I think two things that I picked. The first one thing where you said sales is hard and you must be willing to do the hard work, right? And then also doing a lot of learning so that you're not just there, you're actually growing and you become an authority. Thank you so much once again. And I hope that favor had from that.
Mhm.
Okay, so to the next question, I'm going to throw this at Sarah. This question, I mean, it's directed to both Sarah and Olufemi, but I'm going to let Sarah start since Olufemi has just been drilled answering 3 questions at once. This question was asked by Boluwatife Badmos, and he or she says, how do you balance short-term revenue targets with long-term brand growth and customer trust? Hi, Sarah. Did you catch the question?
Not really.
Okay, so I said, how do you balance short-term revenue targets with long-term brand growth and customer trust?
Okay. Short term, long term, and customer trust. Those are, how do I put it? So customer trust is something that should be there, whether it's short term or long term. And well, I'm going to be speaking from the account management angle in particular, even though yes, I do have like a strong BD background. So customer trust is something that you want to always put at the front, whether it's short term revenue or it is long term. You
Hi,
want to
Sarah.
say
So hi, Sarah. It feels like something is blocking your mic, so you might need to speak up a
oh,
little.
is it better? Is it
Yes,
better?
it's way
Oh,
better.
okay. Thank you. All right. So I'll just start again. So I think I'm going to speak from the customer, I mean from the account management angle, because I know Olufemi will take it from the core sales and business development angle. So from account management, customer trust is something that you always want to place first, whether it's short term or long term, because um, if there's customer trust right from the short term revenue, and from when you say short term revenue, I'm taking that to mean like quick wins, partnerships, and all, and while the long term are like the contracts, like 1 year contracts and above, right? Um, the person that asked the question, yeah. So I mean that's my understanding from that question. So what I see as customer trust is that you are delivering on whatever it is that you have promised. Yes, and if you deliver on that, even your short term can end up becoming a long term revenue. Okay.
Hi, Sarah. Okay. Hi, Femi, please proceed. Because I
Sorry,
don't think we can hear you.
I wanted to even, I don't know that I can ask the person a question if they are here. Like, do they work in a SaaS company or something like that? I don't know that I can ask that. But I mean, let me just ask, is the person here?
Olufemi Badmos, are you here, please? Let me just
Okay, let me just,
Yes,
okay.
he is.
Do you work in a SaaS company? like a software service company?
Yes, sir. It's
Okay.
outsourced.
All right. So what I wanted to say from that angle is that for for every salesperson, not just the money that you're collecting from a client in the first year is great. I mean, the way I evaluate salespeople right now is the fact that you're not just closing a deal because it's a easy money to collect. Can this person continually stay? So are you willing to let some money go while like you're having that conversation? And at the end of the day, so this now brings you to the fact that because at the end of the day, like I bring every money because we have to close this deal, we have to reach the target for this period. Because the ARR, which is the annual recurring revenue, matters, right? It matters. And I can see that how do you balance it? I mean, definitely the way you balance it is that ensure that you are selling the products as a solution to people, not because it is beautiful, it's the next thing that is happening, then you just bring bad wagons and they are not and or they are unable to renew their revenue. So as long as your product team has assured you that what you are going to sell, you're not lying, because they used to say salespeople are liars, and it's product team that make us lie. So if your company, if your salespeople will, if they would ensure that what the value of what you are selling to the market is accurate, then you ensure that the kind of companies that you are closing is not one company like on a B2B level now. It's not one company that you are not even sure about their business model. Are they going to be alive next year? Because at the end of the day, you reach the target for this period, and maybe fortunately for you, by the end of the year, you leave the company to another company, and they cannot count it for recurring revenue. So you want to ensure that even after you've left the company, so at the point when you're prospecting, of course, part of the things you do is to like check the company, how long have they been? These are the valuable deals that you are bringing in. So to help customer success and account manager people like Sarah was saying to reduce churn. So as a salesperson, the way you balance is to be sure that you are talking to you are making valuable conversations. So that's what I would say to that. Maybe Sarah still has something to say because she joined back already.
Yes, thank you very much. Um, so I was talking about it from the customer trust and all, and he has also touched it. I would just like to add that it's all also in your strategy. Yeah, and I already said it from the beginning that yes, customer trust should always like come first, but even from your strategy, you need to identify like this kind of partnership or deal, like the urgency. Okay, so does it have the potential to eventually turn into a long-term revenue? Because short-term revenue, that one, it just helps to keep the lights on. Long-term revenue is what keeps the business alive. Yeah, and I could ramble on and on and talk about how like short term, because with short term you now have to like do more work, but with long term revenue, like the work is easier because that's when you have signed like long term contracts and all of that. But on that underlying, both of them is customer trust because that's what makes both possible, whether it's short term revenue or not. And especially if I don't know the stage where that business is, yeah, but there's usually that genuine pressure to like close whatever is in front of you, and that's where that short-term revenue comes in. So again, so that it's not like I'm rambling, you need to be very strategic about it. Like, am I doing this just for the audience? Because yes, as a salesperson, we need to like have a quick close win, or are we doing it because we want this to be like a really long term revenue and just with customer trust first, and make sure you're delivering on whatever value it is that you're promising so that we can also be like brand advocates. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much, Femi. Great answers. And I do hope that Boluwatife has taken note of the answers that were given. Can you give me a thumbs up, Boluwatife? Great. Lovely. So the next question. IMD is also one of the mentors that we have here at TSP, a great mentor, in fact, a grand mentor. So, I'm going to let you answer this next question. And it says, for someone starting a career in sales and marketing today, what experiences or projects would you recommend to become highly employable within the next 1 to 2 years? Did you catch my question?
Yeah, I did. I
Okay.
did. It's a very, very good question. Do me a favor, ask that question again. Because while you're saying it, I need to think.
I'm sorry.
Ask the question again.
Okay. So it says for someone starting a career in sales and marketing today, what experiences or projects would you recommend to become highly employable within the next 1 to 2 years? What will make them become hot cake in this our sales industry? What should they do to become hot cake?
Okay, so I think the first thing would be to define what you want to be, like the business model. Do you want to be B2B or you want to be B2C? Because depending on the one you pick, right, that would also decide the project that you would, choose to go. I've done B2C, but I don't like it, so I'm not going to talk about that one. I mean, B2B is my thing. So if you're supposed to focus on projects for B2B, I would say having some sort of freelance, um, what will I call it now? If you could join somebody, just the same thing that Femi did, joining a friend, even if it didn't really come with some sort of cash back to him, but joining a friend to or joining a business if you can, even if it's just like a freelance kind of thing where you are constantly engaging with other businesses. Because if you look at a whole lot of job descriptions and the way a whole lot of B2B organizations operate, in their job descriptions, they always emphasize relationship building with stakeholders or relationship building with like C-level executives. So if you have some sort of engagements with those kind of people, it creates some sort of validation of your ability to engage, right? There's so many other things you could actually look at, but I think that's the one that most people I like you'll be able to defend, because if I say you need to build resilience and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't mean those things don't mean anything when you're speaking to an employer. But if you can talk about, because at core, to be honest, sales is all about engagements and building relationships. There's a whole lot of other things to think about, but that's like the major thing. You can only build trust with somebody if you're engaging with that person and building a relationship. So if you're able to join a particular program or a particular startup or a particular business that focuses on reaching out to other businesses, I think that would be very good. It doesn't necessarily, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a business. It could be anything that requires you to engage with another business or a an entrepreneur, business executive, whatever kind of thing, anything like that. Yes, I think that would be very good, even on the marketing side as well too. So I think that's it, from me.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. Just to add, I found that question quite interesting because I have a background in both sales and marketing as well. And very quickly, I would say one skill you should definitely learn is writing. If you're doing sales and marketing, writing is going to help you a lot. I mean, in sales, you're going to be writing proposals, you're going to be writing cold emails, cold reaching out coldly, if I can put it that way. And if it's marketing, you're going to be writing copies and all. I mean, yes, we're in the era of AI and all of that, but people still value that human voice. And I also say this, that even if you're using AI, like AI is better when you know what you're doing already. So, and again, if you can write, you can also influence like your speaking. So in the situation where you have to like do an elevator pitch with somebody that you just met, I want to believe that if you're a good writer, it will also help in your speaking as well. And the second key I would say is relationship building. Relationship building, I think he also mentioned that, but like, it's like really, really key. If you have those two skills, like it will help you become the hot cake that you want to become.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Interestingly, the next question actually ties with this question that was asked already. It says, what skills separate an average sales or marketing professional from a top performer, and how can someone intentionally build those skills early in their career? So, I mean, I wanted to throw the question to Sarah, but she has given us quite an answer. Or is there something else that you want to add? Because it's, the questions are quite alike.
Time management.
I'm sorry, Emily wants to say something.
Time management.
Time management, lovely.
People don't
Can
talk.
you?
People don't talk more. People don't. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I was asking you to give like details, explain in details how that would.
Okay, so people don't necessarily talk about time management as a core skill, but every single person I've mentored, every single person I've coached, I always talk about it. So for sales, right? You have to understand. You know how we say even when you're looking at signals or when you're trying to look at triggers, right? You should also know when to reach out to somebody, if it's the right time to reach out to somebody. Even in the banks, time is part of it, but people don't talk much about it. People only focus on the budgets and authority most of the time. They don't talk much about timing. And then for the salesperson, right, you have a whole lot of activities that you actually run, even with AI, just like Sarah said. People say, oh, there's AI now. You forget that AI only works when an effective human tells it what to do, when to do it, how to do it, all those things, right? If you don't structure your time very well, you would miss engagements, struggle with follow-ups, struggle to, draft proposals within a certain period of time. You know how we also say in sales, for example, if you had a conversation with somebody at a certain period of time, you need to be able to reach out to them or follow up with them at a certain period of time. You need to be able to send a particular proposal to them at a certain period of time, because you have to remember you're not the only one reaching out to them, right? There are a whole lot of people. And if you as a salesperson, you don't structure your time very well, you would actually flop, right? You start getting confused. And because sales is a role where there's a whole lot of pressure, if you remember, if for example this week you have a target to reach out to 100 people, and for some reason you didn't reach out to 100 people, you reached out to 70 people, that means you are short of 30. That 30 has been carried over to the next week. So you now have 130 to reach out to the next week. And then remember that when you get to the next week, there might be unforeseen circumstances that come. Your manager might want you to do one thing in this direction. Somebody else might want you to do something in this direction. A meeting from the previous week might have just come through, and then there's something to do. So there's a possibility that you will miss that 130 this new week. And then you carry it over into the next week. And then before you know it, you have pressure from your manager, from a customer, from yourself, right? So basically, if you don't actually have a very, very, very good control of your time, or like good time management skills, where if you set a time to do something, you just do it no matter what it is, you would actually struggle. So that's one underrated skill that people don't necessarily talk about, and it's something I emphasize every single time.
Thank you so much. Because of our time, we're actually pressed for time. I will just go straight into the next question. And this person says, the question is from Abiola Adeoye, and he or she says, how would you recommend someone with a career as a software engineer switch to a career in sales and BD? So I'm going to let Olufemi Peter take that question, because we know that he was supposed to be an HR personnel, but he happens to now be a sales professional. So Olufemi, please go ahead.
So, I mean, the person first would tell me why they want to switch. Like, you're already writing code that you want to start selling. So, I mean, it's what is chasing you that would make you know, let me know why you want to switch. But the idea is that, I mean, it's fair enough. You already have domain knowledge, and which is one of the things that every salesman should also have. Like, if you are deciding to want to go into sales, then what do you want to sell? So maybe your advantage right now, like mine that is working for me, PHR, is domain knowledge of being an HR. So you're a software engineer, you know what it takes to build a software. So you now want to sell the software. So then you already know the software. So it's an advantage to get into a call and maybe be able to easily like bamboozle people, like bluff on a call, right? About how good your technology that is on they are selling is. But to be honest, I mean, it's you that know what is chasing you, right? You know why. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell to you. So you, or maybe you tell me what is chasing you for you. Then I'll be like, okay, do it like this, but now you know waiting they chase you. So yeah.
Maybe the money is better. Is the money better? Do we think
I
that?
mean, if you, but so there was I mean, I and my friend were discussing one day that it's like everything don't balance now because initially it's the technical guys that are actually being paid better in sale in the tech ecosystem, but now I think the business oriented guy, the sales guy, marketing now everything's like really matching up these days. Maybe that's why. But if that's the reason, I mean, by all means, you have it. You can even tell your story is very sweet. If you can write on LinkedIn, like Sarah says, start writing on LinkedIn. So one day, one recruiter will be like, come on, this guy they write code before now is a sales guy. They go be like, then go even enter your DM, say alpha. So, right? I mean, now you know waiting they chase you, my bro. So, but
I mean,
yeah.
just to touch on this your point of the money. So unfortunately, right, it's just that in I usually don't like to just throw it out and say Africa per se, but I would say Africa generally, because at least thankfully I have knowledge working outside of Nigeria. Sales is not a profession that has been taken serious for a long time. I would say sales just started getting the props in the last maybe like 2-3 years thereabouts. And I think that actually started when COVID happened, right? People started, to realize that salespeople, like even when everybody's shut down, salespeople can still kind of like move or do things globally. But what I'm saying is in every business, if you check it, salespeople earn more than most people, even earn more than most of the CEOs. Like it's just in Africa where they just made it look whatever, just give them anything. But if you have the opportunity to work internationally, or in fact you can just do like even if you don't have to work, you can just salespeople actually earn a whole lot more than most people or most of all these technical roles. And I'm not even just talking about what's it called? Like base salary. Like if you combine, if you hear a lot of bonuses, for example, I have a very good friend who works for a company because I work with a UK based company, so I'm mostly based in the UK, right? So I have a friend who works with another tech company. This guy last year, his bonus alone was £1 million. He has not touched. In fact, the year before, his bonus alone was, I think, if I'm correct, it was probably like 600K, 600 and something K. So from that particular bonus of 2024, he has not touched any of his earnings even till like now. He's living off the bonus. So he's basically just his base salary, he's just investing it. He's like his money is he's just investing it. And there are a whole lot of people like that. A whole lot of people like that. There's another person you guys, if you guys can follow this person on Instagram, Hosanna or something of that sort. I think I'll drop her name in the group or something in Slack. She was working with Microsoft and moved to a cybersecurity organization. My friend works with a cybersecurity organization. She also just moved. She also had the commission of, if I'm correct, I may be missing it. I think last year she had a commission of about like 600. So, and there are a whole lot of people like that. So it's just in Nigeria or Africa that people just disregard sales. Oh. And is the good part is a lot of us, salespeople, that have been in sales for a while. I would say the millennials that are in sales. I think we've been able to fight our way through to let people understand that look, you need to value us more. If not, global companies will pick us up. So I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of companies now are now saying, okay, salespeople, we need to actually give you some more money, that kind of thing. Because we've all said it, sales is very hard. You can't pay me, small money for me to be go and be crying when things don't move in the right direction and you're pressuring me again. No, you have to compensate me with good money.
Oh my goodness, that was so good. Yes, I agree. But I think okay. Sarah wants to speak because I wanted to bring up Abiola to tell us why. I think he's here. Tell us why you want to move.
Yes.
Please, Sarah.
I mean, before he comes on, I just want to say, I mean, everybody has said really amazing things, but should I say I can kind of relate because I mean, I have a sales background, and now in my own company, I'm actively involved in the tech part of using like our own like SaaS product. Yes, so I understand. And the only thing I just want to say to Abiodu is that you being a technical person, it gives you an edge even above every other technical sales person because I mean you understand the product, how it works, how it was built, who you are building it for, and all. So I feel like it gives you that edge on how to sell, even probably more than those that are technical sales people. Yeah. So and I think Obafemi already highlighted that when it said domain knowledge and all. So that's just it. Like think of it from that angle. Like yes, I have an edge over every other person, even though I'm just a new sales person. I use that as your weapon and not as a weakness. That's it.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Abiola, do you want to tell us the exact reason as to why you want to pivot?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My background is a bit noisy, but let me just keep it brief. So I think everybody has kind of already said the reason why, because I'll be sincere, as a person, as a technical person, I've realized that no matter how good your product is, no matter how spectacular it is, if there's no one to sell it, there's no point in your product. So it's really a matter of, I kind of found it interesting, as a technical person, like, oh wow, you build this thing, but who sells it? I mean, if nobody sells it, nobody uses it. And like someone else also says, if I'm being sincere with my company, salespeople are any more than me. so, I'm like, so I'm like, wow, okay, I'm reading code every second, every day, cracking my brain, and someone sells it, and wow, okay, cool. Like let me see what's there in sales. So yeah, that's it. So that's it.
We knew it. Thank you very much for telling us. We knew that was the reason. But yeah, as Sarah said, you kind of have a leverage since you already have like a technical background. It would give you some edge. And I think that for sales, for entry level, you really don't need much. Just need to, you basically, most companies actually train you. So yeah. The next question says, and this person is Faith Hannah Cho. She says, how do I actually pitch myself as a BDR? A lot has been going on LinkedIn where they tell you, if you're just applying to jobs and just waiting for them to call you, you're on a long team, you have to actually reach out to the hiring manager, do this, do that. You guys, I'm getting tired of LinkedIn, but God yeah, like how do you pitch yourself as a BDR? So I'm gonna let Sarah take this, and then I also want IMD to answer the question as well. Are we here?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so when it comes to pitching, let me let me see. Let me say on LinkedIn, there there are different ways. I kind of try, even though I know a lot about branding, I try to kind of run away from everything social media. Yeah, but there are different ways, and so let's start with LinkedIn. Yeah. um Obviously from your LinkedIn profile alone, like, you want it to speak to it, like right from your headline. You're not just writing, oh, you're a business development representative, so please, you want to pitch your value. I always tell people, like, how I define sales generally is just value exchange, and I believe everybody is a salesperson. You are just yet to unlock the salesperson within you, because there's sales in everything. Yeah. So on LinkedIn, start. I mean, your headline is one of the first things that they see before even your profile picture, after your name. Yeah. So start with your value. So maybe you're a B2B salesperson. I'm helping B2B companies turn cold outreach into warm conversations. Whatever your, so let's say, your focus or your niche in business development is, and then in your about section, of course, it's still like another avenue for you to pick yourself, like what you do, who you do it for, how you do it differently from others, and if you have any achievements, like, please talk about it. And then when we're able to talk about, like, your post as well, tell stories about your business development experience. That one, even me, I'm guilty about that. Like, I mean, for somebody that has over 10 years, I rarely ever speak about it. And I'll say most of the engagements or jobs that I've gotten were from actual clients, or, like, based on referrals. Yeah, but if you're coming fresh and you don't have anybody to refer you, your stories, that's what's going to help you, because it's going to make people more familiar with you and everything that you do and all your wins. It's very important for you to keep track of your wins. Trust me, I learned this like quite late. All those numbers that you are bringing in, keep it. You say, yes, I brought in $10 million, or I have a track record of $10 million of this and that. You need to always highlight your wins. That's like the main way I would say. So, in summary, like, don't just let it just be that, oh, I do this, I'm describing what I'm doing, like, demonstrate it. Yeah, and you can do that by telling your story. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So basically, putting your results out there and letting people know all that you've achieved. That's actually a good one. I wanted to let IMD answer too, but we're pressed for time, and I'm just going to let him take the next question, and then we'll move on quickly. So IMD, this person is also asking, what are some interview tips? So I think it's two in one. It says interview or demo tips, because I do know that these are two different things. If you're going to do a demo for a client, what are the tips to actually being really good at the demo? And then if you're going to have an interview, what are tips? So it's a two-in-one question. What are the tips for smashing that interview? Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll start with demo. And for me, the way I run demos and the way I always advise people to run demos, the way I've told my own team to run demos, um, I'm a firm believer in always giving what people want. So obviously, before you get to that point of demos, you need to have asked, okay, what do you want to see? You need to also understand. Okay, let me go back. I don't believe a lot of people, and my um, mentees on one of my mentees on this call, if not two of them, I've said in your emails, never say you have the team needs to jump on the call or for me to do a demo. I've never, well, I won't say I've never. When I started sales 50 years ago, I used to do that, but I stopped doing that for a long time. I don't do that. So I always advise never do it, right? You need to first ask if whatever it is you're telling them is relevant or if it's of interest to them, or if they're probably struggling with something similar. When you jump on the call, you need to ask questions to fully understand their current position, what's working, what's not working, where they are, what exactly is their major pain points, which one they want to solve, what's the impact of the pain points on their current position, what will happen if you don't solve the problem, right? When you get all those information, then you jump in. That's when you now start asking, okay, do you want to see a demo where I can actually show you how our solution would help you solve your problem, right? So that simply means that in the demo, you are going to only show them what it is that they want to actually see. Now, there's also room, and I think I even mentioned it to my mentee yesterday. You should also, I mean, after having that conversation where you say, look, I'm going to do a demo to show you this particular thing, and they say, okay, yes, that's what we want to see, that's fine. There's also room to say, our solution actually offers a whole lot of other things. Would you want to see them? You need to get buy-in in every situation. You always need to get buy-in, which is what we call consent, when it comes to face-to-face human relationship. But from a business standpoint, get the buy-in and see this is what we can also offer added on to this particular thing that you're looking at. Do you think this is something that you guys might be interested in, maybe down the line or whatever the case may be? Then during the demo, you can do all that. But I don't believe in just running the demo and just saying, okay, this is what we do, this feature can do this feature can do that. It gets boring, you'll get tired of it. So it's always good to kind of focus more on what exactly is the major pain points that the business is actually struggling with and what they want to actually see that would help them at that point in time. I feel like if you've done sales long enough, even just going, in fact, you don't even have to do sales long enough. Just regular me and you human relationship. If you go to a regular store to buy something and you get there and they are able to satisfy you on that thing that you want to buy, and the person you are talking to has built a good relationship with you, and if they say, oh, we actually have something else that we can actually show you that might be of interest to you, even if it's not now. Would you want to see? You will be willing to see because they've already satisfied whatever got you to that store. Or you haven't satisfied me, you're telling me about another thing. Please, I'm not interested. That's my own take. So that's what I usually advise. When it comes to interview tips, I would say, and I know it's a bit of a struggle, especially for younger ones starting out. So I'm a firm believer in if you are going in for an interview, you are the solution to a problem. I mean, if you've applied for a particular job, I believe you should have read the JD and believe that you can actually do it. If you know you can do it, I don't see any reason why you should be fidgeting or you should, be shaking. It's a two-way interview. As much as they're interviewing you, you're interviewing them, right? Because you also need to know if that particular business is actually a good place for you to grow. You need to know if the person you're going to be working with is a good person, a good manager that will help your growth. You also need to understand if they had somebody there in that role, what happened, where did the person go? Because those things you need to learn, you need to understand what you're jumping into. You don't want to jump into from frying pan to fire, right? So you ask certain questions. You should just be very confident in asking questions to fully understand the context of what you are going into. I don't believe that you should go into an interview blind. You should do your research before jumping into the call. As a matter of fact, that's one thing I should have said first. When you apply to a job, make sure you do as much interview, go to their websites, have a good understanding of the business first before jumping into the call. I think that would also help you to ask the relevant questions that you would have to ask when you get to that point. Don't talk so much. I know some people will say, talk, like try and sell yourself. I don't really think so, because you never really know. To one person, you might be talking enough, to another person is talking too much, right? You never really know. I think you should just try to sell yourself in the best possible way. Don't over talk, don't under talk. I think those are the things I'll call as tips right now.
Okay, thank you so much, IMD. So first, for the demo tip, ask all the right questions to uncover their pain points and stick to showing them only what your product can solve. And then for interview tips, do your research, right? And be confident. Don't talk too much. Thank you so much, Ayomide. We're gonna go to, we have about 6 more questions, and I'm going to need our mentors to really, I'm gonna say 3 minutes for each question so that we can, wrap this up on time and everybody can get to whatever it is that they need to do. Okay, we need to be done by 8:40. Okay, so the next question is from Shukurat Bakari, and she says, how can I convince clients to subscribe to the savings company I work for? I'm sorry, how can I convince clients to subscribe to the savings the company I work with is running without sounding desperate? How do I create a sense of urgency in them? I'm going to throw this question to Olufemi.
Well, this question is saying, teach me how to do my job, which you've been paid to do. No, I mean, that's how I hear. So honest truth is this. Honest thing is that, right, as Ayomide just said right now, I mean, every product, every service is out there to solve a problem. And if you are unable to make people see that they might have that problem or they are in that problem, then you look desperate when you're selling. So you have to track back a little bit, ask questions. And someone taught me something early in my career that can you make every conversation that happens look like you're asking a question? So I mean, savings, like you ask a question like, oh, what will happen if you don't have a savings for something like this? Has it ever happened? And the person like, oh, it has never happened. Then sometimes maybe just understand that this person does not have a problem. Then you keep your motion going. So yeah, that's just it. Honestly, is it you have the mind that you're selling a solution. Whatever you're selling, it is a solution. So if the person does not have the problem, they won't buy. So always look for people that have problem, or even as a salesperson that you are, you have that superpower of creating that problem for that person. Then they end up buying, or at the same time appeal to what feels to their favor, and they buy from you. So that's what I would say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I do hope that Shukurat is here and she's taking note of the answers. So basically, Femi has said to ensure that you're pointing out the benefits of what you're selling to them, asking the right questions to know if they actually need your services, and you need to actually do a lot of work because not everybody is going to be a buyer, right? So be ready to do the work. And then the next question, still from Shukurat, she says, what can I always end my follow-up message with that will prompt a conversation from the client I am talking to, something that will spark a conversation about what I am selling? So Olufemi, you can still take this one since it's still
Sorry, please, can we track back a little bit? The question.
Okay, so he says, what can I always end my follow-up message with that will prompt a conversation from the client I am talking to? Something that will spark a conversation about what I am selling.
I mean, I think I said when I was starting the conversation, a follow-up is a continuation of your first call, your demo. So, so by all means, it is a continuation of your call. So my idea is like, if you start a call from okay, you call somebody. I'm not trying to like call you to ask you about the deal. I'm trying to continue the conversation that we had earlier, and I am like checking on you. It's a continuation. So how you ended your demo or your first pitch signals how you even start, not even end it now, is even how you start the call. So you would always be sure that there's always something left to handle. Like so, and that's what so it's not necessarily on how to end it, it's how to even start it that I think. So I picked my phone like the last call. The reason why they do so, I'm not calling to like how far my deal now, when are you going to close, are you going to give me a time? Bro, they'll not give you time. I mean, nobody really wants to. So but I get on the call and I just tell them about what is going on. Okay, this is the problem that you post on the right time. And if I'm looking at this situation, it means that have you gotten out to, I mean, be honest about it. Have you bought from another person, or not like, I mean, ask this in this way. So it's not mechanical. That's what I'm having trouble answering this, but it's not mechanical, honestly. So, but just always ensure that there's a flow. My scenario, like, it's pay the child that I sell now, for example, which is my best scenario. Someone is trying to fix a performance in a company, HR is trying to fix performance. Oh, how are you? We've discussed and discovered that because they are unable to gather enough data, they're unable to make performance. So when I pick my phone to call you, hi, how are you doing? In fact, do you remember that during our conversation, a company just came on board that they're having the same issue, and exactly this what we said, unable to gather data. I will imagine you've not been able to gather data. We're like, oh yes, we're still working on it too. So you can figure that one that okay, they have not gone to buy. So then you are able to now say like, come on, it means that you keep doing this over and over if you don't settle this in as soon as possible. If it's management, then you're like, oh, it's still management too. Okay, what do we do that makes management happen? So you're like, okay, let's know what we do. So that's the way you follow up on deals. So it's how you start the conversation, not necessarily how you end it. So how you start this will let you know how it ends. So just think about that every conversation you're having somebody, I already mentioned, so that I mean ensure that you're asking the right questions and it helps you to know what the next thing to do. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Olufemi. I also think that whatever question you're asking the lead is dependent on what they're telling you. So say the lead is bringing an objection like, I want to ask my wife, I want to ask my husband, you should follow up with a question. But it needs to be tied to you closing the sale. That's actually what I think. But IMD has now said something here. I want to just read, but this is the answer to the first question that Shukrat had shared with us. It says, review every single customer that has started using the savings product, figure out what was their problem and why that savings product was the solution for them. Then when you speak to other people, ask them questions to find out if they have similar problems. If they do, plug your savings product as a solution and let them know that other people like them have gotten value from it. Make sure the value you're telling them about is measurable. I hope that Shukrat is in the chat. And lovely. I hope that Shukrat is in the chat and has read this herself for the answer to the first question. And then to the second question, Sarah says to ask open-ended questions, not yes or no questions. Lovely. I also agree. Thank you so much to all our mentors. The next question is from Peace Obi. And she says, in a highly competitive field, where there are hundreds of digital products solving similar issues, how do you stand out as a tech sales expert of such products? So everybody's selling the same thing and you're coming to talk to a lead and they're probably telling you, this is not new. How does this serve me, right? So I want Sarah to answer that question. Please, Sarah. Hi, Sarah, are you here? Can you speak?
Yes, sir. I always start and forget that my mic is off. Okay, so the question was about how do you stand out in a similar, like where you're selling similar products, yeah? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. IMD says it's a tough one.
Yes, it is. So to be honest, maybe I kind of have a bias for this year because I like to see myself. I always tell myself I'm a blue ocean strategist. Yes, and in I'm looking for the best way. I'm looking for the best way to put this. So if there are so many people that are doing the same thing that you're doing, you need to understand your product first. Like what makes your product stand out? Yes, you will do the same thing, but you cannot just be doing the same thing. If your product or whatever it is that you're selling, if it doesn't have anything that makes it stand out already, that's that's a minus already. Yeah. So once you can find that edge, um, that your product has above every other product, that will help you stand out. And even if it doesn't have, could it be that there could be a particular service offering would make it also stand out? Yeah. So those are some things I would say you should consider when you are in let's call it the red ocean, and everybody is fighting for the same customers and everything. Yes, I'd say that's like the best and simplest way that I can put it. I had another point, but right now it's like leaving my memory. Yes, but yeah, that's really the most important thing. Like, what makes you stand out, and then how are you doing it? Because when people say BD, I want people to understand that in BD you are not just a salesperson, you're also an innovator. You're thinking about different ways in which you can generate revenue apart from even the main way. They're like branching out. Like, okay, we do this, but how can we still generate revenue that is aligned with what we do, even if it's not like the main product? Yeah. So I can give an example. So maybe like let me see. Uh Okay, let me just travel because I think recently my last client was a travel. So let me use something similar. So maybe you're doing travel for good. Let's call it travel for good. Like maybe all these NGOs are like, oh, you're traveling to go and volunteer in another country and all of that. Yeah, and you need people. This now is from like the NGO angle, and you need people to buy your travel services in quotes. Yeah. What else can you offer that would still generate money? So what's the purpose of traveling? Why traveling outside? What of if you also offer within the country, like travel to another state instead of only traveling abroad? I don't know. I hope you get the picture. But basically, as a greedy person, you are always supposed to be innovative and thinking about innovative ways to make revenue. So apply that. Look for the innovative um offerings you can offer for whatever it is that you're selling, and it will help you stand out. I hope that answers your question.
Sorry,
Thank you
Chine,
so
let
much,
me let me
sir.
also sorry, I know
Yes.
you want to rush off, but let me say something. Um, Unfortunately, this is a part that is quite, that's why I say it's very tough. And unfortunately, we are in a demographic that actually a lot of people, especially when it comes to payments, everybody is doing payments across Africa, right? And it can be very difficult to be differentiated. But just like Sarah said, right, BD, you have to figure out a way to the word innovative makes it a bit complex because you start to think about what should I come up with? But I would say use your initiative to figure out a way to stand out. And I think the easiest way is relationship. So why I would say that is because it has happened to me a couple of times where there are other businesses that are probably even giving a better rate or maybe have a better, solution or whatever the case may be, right? But because I have engaged with, prospects to the point where it now looks like we are friends. It now looks like if you don't buy from me, you are our friendship, that we've kind of built. Well, something is wrong, right? So I always lead with trying to build relationship with people. I lead with trying to be the trusted person that if that person has an issue or has a problem, you will come to me. And I will tell you, oh, we are not the cheapest in the market, but because you want to get to this place, I can take you there, which is also why asking the right questions is good. So if you build the right relationship with people, it's obviously because you've actually been able to speak to them, ask them the right questions that have kind of like touched on their pain points. So you kind of have a very good understanding of where they want to go to. So you can then now be that trusted person that they know this person knows where I want to get to. So whatever I say, even if it's a bit, the price is a bit high, no problem, right? I'll go with that person. Another angle is, to you can do your research to understand that um, across Africa, for example, or across Nigeria, right, customer service is not great. So if you are in a market where everybody is selling the same thing, you need to also figure out what is it about my customer service that my competitor is not actually doing right, that I can do better. So everything still boils down to what Sarah is saying about being innovative, right? Using your initiative to figure out something that can be a very small add-on, right, to the solution that would actually make them, buy from you, which is why back again to asking the right questions. A lot of people just want to focus on the solution could give you X, the solution will give you Y. You're not necessarily asking the business questions of, okay, why do you want this solution? What is it going to do for your business? What's the customer service like? What's this like? What's that like? Right? There are certain things that you ask that you realize, okay, they are struggling with something else that is not necessarily a solution. It's just like I need to go back to the account management team or the customer success team and be like, look, these guys, they have another person that they're talking to that is giving them a better rate, but those people, their customer service is rubbish. So we have to make sure that we are answering them 24/7. We are giving them the best service just so that they deal with us. So those are the kind of things you need to, look at to put yourself in the best possible position.
Thank you so much, Amide. I do hope that Peace will be here, because these are actually really valuable points that Sarah and Amide have shared. Let me just check. Okay, this meeting is recorded anyway. Okay, so to the next question, Peace still, she asked, the Nigeria economy has not been favorable for a while, and there is little to no disposable income left. How do you sell to your target ICP? Okay, so I'm gonna let Olufemi Peters answer this, and then I'm trying to see who else can. Dara, you can just throw in something as well, because we're wrapping up in a bit. So Olufemi, did you get the question?
Yes, I did. So, sorry. So what I think is this, right? Actually, I don't know. But because the idea is that, I mean, if we're talking about solution-driven approach, then maybe it's not a problem that you not think about this. I mean, you not be bothered, not like you not think about it, right? But at the end of the day, so it's solution-driven. I mean, if you don't have money, you still buy food. You don't have money, you still buy water. But then just pray that you are not selling, like one of my previous manager would say, pray that you are selling painkillers and not just vitamins. So you have to know these things too. And then, yeah, honestly, it's not mechanical. That's the thing. So just pray. I mean, your product you are selling, how much it poses as a solution, and yeah. You see that I'm just mumbling. I really do not know. I really do not know if I have the answer to this. But the idea is that I think. I just think that it's a solution-driven thing. People, economy is hard. People still buy food. In fact, people still go to club now. So there's already a problem that was created for us. Nigeria is worse enough, so people want to drink away their sorrow. So, and there was this, in fact, for context, there's this whiskey that used the verse of the Bible to sell their stuff. And I was like, I think I forgot the verse of the Bible that they picked as their. So they know how to sell the problem, make it look good. So yeah, it's solution driven. I'm sorry that maybe if I send a mentor for that answer, then I will mentor me.
No, but I think that makes sense. You will not treat your product like it's something that people can just say, okay, I have small 50,000. Let me just buy what you're selling. No.
Yeah, thank you.
You're solving a problem with your product, so you treat it as important. So Dara, please, can you go ahead? I wanted to say Dara, see me. Sorry,
just Dara is fine. Chinaya, please, could you ask the question again?
Yes, so it says the Nigeria economy has not been favorable for a while, and there is little to no disposable income left. How do you sell to your target ICP?
All right, that's actually a very good one. First of all, you can't take away the macroeconomic and microeconomic factors, yes, but I think Olufemi has already touched on certain things that I would try to reiterate briefly. There are some products that would always sell. right? Some products are just needs. You think about food, no matter what happens, people would buy food. Um, well, clothings are wants, but people still buy clothing. But there are just some things that would typically sell and some things that would be affected, right? You look at the market now, and realistically, a lot of things are affected. People are complaining about real estate. People are complaining about the cost of housing and whatnot. And you know it gets real when the rich come out and they start complaining about the prices of things. So yes, right, macroeconomics plays a huge role in access to liquidity, disposable income. All of that would impact your business, even globally. Those are things that we cannot control. But what are the things that we can control, whether as an entrepreneur or as a salesperson? First of all, Olufemi said something very key. Hope and pray. Not just hope and pray. Make sure you're working in a company that sells a product that is actually a necessity, that is solving a real problem, a need, and not a vitamin, right? Recently, I've had some conversations with some startup founders, and I see the great things they're doing. It sounds great on paper, but I'm like, this, even I will not use, you built this for users, but as a Nigerian today with the current realities, I'm not going to use this every day. I don't need it. It's a very nice to have. It's not a necessity. So if you find yourself in a company where you're selling a product that is a vitamin, it is a nice to have. It's not solving a real problem. That business is going to take a hit. You will struggle to sell that product, no matter how good a salesperson you are. And it's going to look as though you are not a salesperson. But those are the things you cannot control. You can't control those things. The things you can control, though, if you have a product that is still in demand, is high in demand, or it falls under the products that people need, regardless, no matter what you do, people will eat food. No matter how bad the economy is, people are buying FX, people are buying different currencies, sending money out, bringing money in. Those they're still, no matter how bad the economy is, people are still renting accommodation, right? There's certain things that regardless, they are needs and people have to purchase those things. And if you find yourself in selling a product like that, you then have to make sure that you understand your ICP, you understand your market, you understand your product, you're selling to the right people, and you're selling the right way, you're following up, you're moving your deals through the pipeline as you should, and you're doing everything within your control or within the factors you can control to make sure that you're getting that deal closed. Yeah. Someone said, what does the person sell? Is that your
Yes.
question?
No, so
Olufemi, what
that's
does the
what.
person sell?
Yeah, I'm just curious. The person that asked the question, what are they selling
Oh,
right
yes,
now?
if the person is on
don't
the
think-
call and they could answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think she's on the call. She should be.
Oh, fair
Because
enough.
that's actually a very good question. What are they
Yeah.
selling actually?
Fair enough. But the summary is, if you're selling a product that is not really in need, you will struggle to sell, and that business itself will struggle over time. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dara. That was very good. Okay.
You're muted.
Chinaya, over
Yes,
to
sorry.
you.
I was speaking. Yes, I'm here. I was actually speaking, but I mute my mic. So this person asked some questions, like there's just like a repetition of some of the questions that have been answered before. Samuel Nwobi. Let me just ask this one. He says, what are the best ways to indicate transferable skills in a sales representative CV? So how do I indicate transferable skills on my CV, basically? I'm gonna let Sarah ask this one since she's a founder, so she should know.
She actually already answered it before. She already even answered it before.
Yeah, she did. So maybe you can just get like a reiteration. I don't think she's here. I don't know if
She's still here.
Yes, I'm here. Okay.
Just 1 minute. Just help us answer it in a minute since you've talked about it before.
Well, just as I said, you want to document your numbers and your exact wins and things that you have achieved. Don't go on your CV and just list out your job description. No, we want to see the actual numbers. So, for instance, closed 15 um, client accounts or manage 15 client accounts, maintain 100% retention, got close a $10 million deal or whatever it is. So just don't be vague. Don't say things like, oh, excellent communicator. You need to like put actual put how did you what's that word? No, put your back into it. No, like put your
Numbers,
mouth.
like
Yeah, put your mouth where your I don't know how they say it anyway. But yeah,
money.
just put just show workings basically.
So Emily says brag about it. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about your bragging.
Exactly.
In sales, you have something called a brag book or a brag list. I mean, sales is a numbers game, so you need to show those numbers that you've done on your CV. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you so much, Ayomide. And then again, I think this is still like what we talked about. What project do you suggest that can be done to show off sales skills in? But this one is specific now. It's saying health tech. So Ayomide, I think you answered this before. So maybe you can just in 1 minute again go over it.
It still boils down to building relationships. So have good, like start building confidence. Speaking to people, right? Because that's like at core. That's like the major thing for sales, right? So wherever you are, don't hide away or shy away from engaging people, right? So start, building that confidence in speaking. But like I always say, do your best to not overtalk.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amide. I mean, this last question, I really don't want to take it. It says, what is your ideal method for preparing for a sales job interview? Amide, you shared this with us before. Okay, let me hear from someone else. I think Femi can just take this. What is your ideal? We've heard Ayamide's ideal method. So I want to hear from Femi. What is your ideal method for preparing for a sales job? I want to hear from Sarah. I mean, you've applied before, so let's hear from you, and I want to hear from Dara as well. Your ideal method for preparing for a sales job interview. Yeah. So, Femi, please go ahead. Is Femi with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. And I mean, I think the people had already mentioned it. That I already mentioned the brag book. When you get to a sales, can you mention that also when you are doing an interview or something like that? I'm sure that's you're not just interviewing
Let's
you, you're
hear your
interviewing
own.
my own experience.
The way you,
I got my
yes, the way you.
let me tell you how I got paid a child's job. Everybody, I don't know. Some of us will know Shea Bandele now. Shea posted it on Twitter. So Shea posted his job that he needed a salesperson on Twitter. I entered his DM. So prior to that week, someone from their company already reached out to me to come and record a video for them because I was working in Kunda Kids. I was using paid HR. So they wanted some people that experienced the product from the employee standpoint to come and record a video. So Sheriff at that point had reached out. Then I obliged to record the video. So then on a Sunday, someone else from PDHR now called, hey, I am Nonso from PDHR. I just used the name. That they were like, oh yes, I know, I'm going to come. Or like, oh no, for the job you applied for. Oh, I said, oh okay, yeah, I'm going to like get it. So and that I have a preliminary chat. Then I chatted on Monday. So me, I don't like interviews. Why I say I don't like interviews is that I didn't do interview to get job in my life. The first, second job, it was on CPD child that I did like an actual interview. So there's always like someone met me somewhere and we chatted and we're like, I'm a fan, let's do something together. Even that's how I got into Kunda Kids. And even so, this one too, then I got on the call. I didn't prepare nothing. I was not like, should I have prepared? So when I got on the call and the HR then was like, I just wanted to meet you and understand your personality. And we just chatted and that was all. Then I got there and he just called me 3 days after that. Oh, Shea wants to meet me. So I mean, Shea that I know on Twitter already felt like, oh, more what's going to happen. So me, to be very honest, I will not lie. I started reading sales cadence, trying to understand what is ARR. metric of sales. Then I got on the call. So, and this thing, it might not be like that for everybody. So she just joined. It was like she had just finished eating on that call. She was like, "Apa now?" I was like, "Baba, I do." Honestly, that's how I said, "Baba, I do." I was like, "Eh." So I mean, Tayo said he likes you and he said I should meet you. So tell me about you now. I said, okay, and I did the normal, I've done this, I've done this, why I am and everything like that. I was like, oh, okay, I think I like you. What's your salary now? And I said, like if I even lie, this is what I said. I said, my company is using PDHR. If I even lie, won't you go and check my salary? And I laughed. So then, and I said, okay, no problem. So now said, oh, are there any questions that I want to ask him? And I asked the question, I said, sales is hard enough. But does this company have like other things that make you feel like you are working somewhere? Like, what's the culture like? And I said, honestly, that he likes the question, and for him, he's a salesperson too, and he has it in mind. He now said something jokingly that that if me as a salesperson is talking about this, what should he as the HR the CEO not say? And I said, I'm sorry now HR now CEO go find products, go find Wala. So that was now where he laughed again and everything went on that way. And the second question that I asked him was like, I forgot the second question, Sha. But I think then from there it was just felt like a chat. And so the way I got the job was another funny thing. On the day I was recording the video for them, I was at their studio, the studio that they were using. Then the HR called me, was like, okay, we dropped this offer for you, something that you're looking to take. So as I was doing the video with the moderator, I was like, I'm about to become your colleague. So because I had already made, like, I knew I wanted to live with that kids at that point. I was going to be about to become your colleague. I was like, what do I mean? And I explained. So that's my own story. So the lesson of the story is that I mean, this thing is still sales because that's what happens in sales. Ayomide has been saying a lot of things that you think it's mechanical. Even when you go as a salesperson, when you go to an interview, don't let them bamboozle you, don't let them make you feel feel so honest. Don't say it's family like this if you don't get the job. But yeah, we just get on the job, read the room, and play along. So play along. If even they don't give the job or they ask question like, do you need a salesperson that will play by the rule? Because no real salesman plays by the rule, right? You don't. There are times when you have to cut deals to close your deal. So be smart enough to know what the right thing to do, but be legal. We don't go and do anything. There's a amount of fee. I should think about now. Yoruba, I talk. Sorry for the non-speaking Yoruba club
For
that is here.
the others at the back.
So don't go and do what is wrong and go and use small clothes to Rokoba. So I mean, so I'm just saying, but in bottom line, what I said is that don't do anything illegal in sales, and it's very close. You almost would do it. I mean, there are situations where you find yourself, but just try read the room. I mean, and see, salespeople are kings. If you know your job, you live the life. That's just the thing. Salespeople are kings. Like salespeople are kings. If I start mentioning people that are salespeople that you know in this world, you'll be shocked. Grant Cardone is a sales guy. Gary Vee is a sales guy. Even people like all this, Otedola was a salesperson. I mean, that's the idea. Even Dangote was a salesperson. But he started the company as a trading company. So you can see how much is possible from the relationship you are building in sales and from this feels like a closing note, but I mean, just read, be strong. I mean, know what you're doing. I mean, it takes time. There's something it's called gift of time, which is seed time and harvest. Take it. One day you're going to get there, and then yourself go make £1 million for commission. So
Thank you so much, Femi. That was good. At this point, now I don't know if I want Dara and Sarah to talk again because he has said everything. So Emily says just be sure that you can do the job, read the room, read the JD, that's the job description before you apply. When you get to the interview, speak with confidence, interview them the same way they are interviewing you. Amazing. Sarah, you want to proceed?
Okay, so again, they've literally said it all. I think another thing that I would just say is, and that in terms of confidence, you really want to show that you know like what you're doing and have a sales playbook. One thing I've noticed back there when I used to do sales interviews, they would ask you like, who do you know, like who are people in your network, do you have a sales playbook? You want to make sure that you have like all these things, because I mean if you have it, it also adds to your confidence. And just to touch on what Olufemi said, yes, you need to be overconfident, because I always tell people that I think salespeople make the best founders. In fact, they make the best people in the world. Like, so you should have that pride, like always. Like, yes, I'm ruling this world. Because even if you leave a company, like those clients that you spoke to, if you build a good relationship with them while you're in that company, they become your own contact. They can even no, I'm not saying that should be the case, but they can even leave that company where you were and follow you just because they love you or because you built that relationship with them. Like those are now your own personal contacts. You have that edge that other people in the company do not have. Yes. So take advantage of it and be proud and have your brag book. Keep bragging. Keep bragging in sales. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Sarah. Femi said something else. He said, on the contrary, don't be sure you can do the job. You figure it out. Yakubu. Manage. All right. Thank you so much, Femi. That was good. All right. Do you want to say something? Just 1 minute. We're gonna wrap up right now.
All right, thanks, Janae. Everyone has said a lot. Sarah, Ayo, everyone has covered a lot. Olufemi as well. I'll touch on certain things preparing for an interview that helps me personally. First is never walk into an interview unprepared, right? Especially if you're interviewing for a very structured company. Never walk into an interview unprepared. No, go over the app, right? Check the app, download if it's a user, if it's a B2C and they have a user app, download that app, check it, check the features, check what it does, check their website, read about them. If you have people within your network that work with that company, speak to them. I remember when I was being hired for InterSwitch, I didn't just walk into my interview unprepared. I went to my OGs at InterSwitch, people who had left and were now MDs in different companies, and I started calling them. This is that, what to expect. This is that, what to expect. Leverage your network. And that's why you have communities like TSP. And I'm not just saying it because, oh, I'm a part of TSP. I leverage my community, like within the community, I would ask people, I leverage my network a lot. So make sure that you're speaking with people that know the company or have an idea or they've worked before or something. And as a salesperson, it's expected that you are actively building your network. So the more people you have within your network, the better for you. It makes this easier. Another thing you want to do is speak to your peers within the industry. You don't want to walk into an interview and you don't know what to expect as per salary expectation. You don't know what the market is saying regarding your salary band, right? You don't have any idea what the range is. And please, if they ask you what your salary is, by all means, do not share, especially if you know that you're not earning enough. Where you're earning enough, and you can tell them what your salary is. And you're like, if you want to double it, that's great. I mean, I'll take that. But if not, I think one thing that works for me is I'm always, quick to let them know that due to the NDA agreement I signed with my company, it's not something I'm able to disclose at the moment if they don't mind. And most times they don't mind. They just want to check because they respect the agreement you've signed with your company. They know that your compensation is not for public knowledge, but they push to see if you're going to disclose just in case you will. And some companies use that opportunity to lowball you. So please, if they ever ask you what your use the agreement thingy. If your hiring manager is someone who understands, because they know. And when you're signing your agreement with them, they're going to tell you that this is your compensation is private information. And that's why you see people go online when they've gotten their offer letter. They go to post their offer letter with their compensation, and the company maintains the right to withdraw their offer. Some companies are even so strict that if you discuss your salary with your colleague, it's a grounds for dismissal. So if it's that private, why do they expect you to share information about your compensation from your company? They know that you can hold that information and it wouldn't do anything, right? But they test the waters to see just if you would share. So speak with your network, know your expectations regarding salary, know what the market is saying. One thing I would say is know your market trends. That helped me get my job at InterSwitch. Know your market trends. I remember I jumped on my interview, my first interview, I'd done it. Second interview, I met with the MD of my subsidiary, and he started talking. He started asking me things about CBN policy regarding their the CBN had just released the data privacy policy then for APIs, open banking, and they were asking me about that. And because I was up to date, I was able to confidently speak to it. So if you're doing an interview, read a bit about your environment, especially if you're working in especially if you're looking to work in companies that have to do with payments. CBN, there's regulations coming in now and then. What's the latest? Stay updated. Global payments, what's the latest? Stay updated. They can ask you questions regarding that. So just try to stay on top of your market trends. It helps a lot. Read the room. Read the room and be ready for conversations to take different turns. Be very flexible. I was invited for an interview one time at a fintech, and I went to the company, had an interview with their CEO. We did not talk one thing about what was in my CV. That was the final leg of the interview. We didn't talk about what was in my CV. I was in the office. The global head of sales at the time was there, and we just kept talking about TSPC and the amazing work going at TSP. Guess what? I wasn't hired for that role because they closed it. They closed the product. They eventually didn't launch the product they wanted to hire me for. However, they ended up sponsoring TSPC's conference the following year. Why? They were just impressed by the work done at TSP. So always try to read the room. Be comfortable. It's very important that you're confident, one. It's also very important that you can read the room. When you're able to read the room and you're comfortable, you can allow for conversations to take a different turn, and you'll be comfortable with the conversation going outside of the typical conversation you plan to have. So not to take our time, I think those are the things I would, those just to wrap it up, those in summary, that's it from my end. Over to you, Chineye. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Darasimi. Thank you to all our mentors and speakers. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Olufemi. Thank you, Ayomide. A very insightful session. I've learned a lot, and I do hope that every mentee on this call has also learned something, noted something down, and I'm sure that we're going to keep going higher as sales professionals. So that has brought us to the end of this particular AMA session, and we hope to see you all next time. But before we go, I need us to do something. Let us go on our Slack channel and in the chat and vibes channel. Let's just drop this. Tonight's session was fire. Put fire, fire, fire everywhere so that those people that did not join, they can feel that they've been left out, they've been left behind. So please go on the chat and vibes channel and say tonight's session was fire, and put the fire emoji. Let everywhere be burning. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining. Please follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn. Stay connected on LinkedIn, and also be active on our Slack channels. Okay. Thank you all. Do have an amazing night rest, and I hope that we meet some other time. Bye.